Hey, how's it going guys? Captain Cuba here, and today I'm finally going to talk about one of those awesome dragons from God of War 4. Now, there's a lot of interesting topics to cover when it comes to the dragons of this game. For example, the official art book of the game tells us the reason the dragon in the mountain has no wings is because he has been living inside the mountain for many years, leaving the wings obsolete, and as a result, they have fallen off. I didn't know this, I just thought it was a baby dragon or something. Another interesting detail is the fact that Baldur was able to tame his dragon, meaning that he went into the Norse wilderness and tamed the dragon himself. Once again, I always thought the dragon was a gift by a dwarf like Mjolnir was. Now, as interesting as these facts are, there's one much more interesting in my opinion, and it involves a magical veneer mirror. So without further ado, I give you the lore behind the dragon Fafnir.
Where you go, you wee little bugger?
In official Norse mythology, Fafnir was a greedy dwarf who killed his own father in order to steal his treasure. Later in the story, we learn that Fafnir was so greedy that he sacrificed his humanity and turned himself into a dragon in order to protect his gold. Now, the story of Fafnir from God of War is identical to the one from Norse mythology. Now, is that it? Is that the end of the video? Actually, no. God of War does add something to Fafnir's story, the means by which he turned himself into a dragon. Once you free him from his chains, you will come across a lore stone tablet that gives you a clue as to what happened to him. This is what it says. If you're reading this, go away. You don't belong here. This is my ravine, and you don't touch any of my stuff on your way out. You're still here? I told you to leave. These are my treasures, and you can't have them. The best stuff is in my storeroom anyways, but don't even think about going there. That place is well guarded. I made sure of that. Just leave me be. I don't need you. I don't need anybody. Certainly not one of Vivaldi's stupid sons warning me about the dangers of greed. I only need to look into my newly acquired veneer mirror to see what it does to my skin. But I don't care. My treasure makes me feel safe, and it warms me from the inside, like the breath of a dragon. Get lost. So according to Fafnir's last words, he found a magical veneer mirror that had the ability to turn people into dragons. And because he wanted to protect his treasure, he looked into it knowing the consequences. The story is later confirmed by Mimir himself.
You never answered the boy's question, Head. How did this dwarf become a dragon?
Well, I don't know for certain, though I'd wager his penchant for stealing magical artifacts had something to do with it. Must have stolen a trinket from the wrong Vanir goddess.
So what is this magical mirror that Fafnir used to turn himself into a dragon? I've tried to find any mention of magical mirrors in the Procedas, and nothing has come up. So most likely this item will be a new liberty taken by Santa Monica Studios when it comes to Norse mythology. And I'm not opposed to this approach by any means. There were a lot of made-up weapons in the original trilogy, like the Nemean Cestus or even the Blade of Olympus, that I still love to this day. But I think the most important question to ask is, where can we find the mirror in the game? Well, the first obvious place to look would be Fafnir's storeroom, but as I'm sure you know, the Reavers stole all the treasure that was once there, alongside the magical mirror.
They took most of the good stuff.
I even took one step further and went to where the Reavers ship stopped, to see if I could find any trace of it, but sadly nothing interesting jumped out. So what exactly happened to it? Well, given that the mirror was created with veneer magic, most likely Freya found it one day while exploring Midgard and hid it from humanity, given how powerful it can be. Because let's be honest, a mirror that has the ability to turn people into dragons is quite the weapon. What if Freya realizes its potential and uses the mirror on herself to attack Kratos with the might of a literal dragon? Maybe not, she seems very focused on getting her fighting spirit and becoming the ultimate Valkyrie, so she'll probably won't need to turn herself into a dragon to fight Kratos. But this doesn't change the fact that the mirror still exists, so the possibility of someone using it on himself is very likely. Listen to something Cory Barlog said about the dragons.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're actually going to do something good, right? But in typical fashion, who knows what that's going to manifest as, right?
Especially
These are the
God of
things
War,
that
yeah.
it's like, hey, you're going to go through and you're going to free these 3 dragons. They're very specific dragons.
Yeah.
And maybe later in the future of these games, they might come back. And will you regret that you did that? I don't know, man. That's what's so cool about it, is that you place all these things and who knows what's going to come back.
Maybe.
Now, he didn't really say anything about them, but he does give the hint that saving Fafnir along with his brothers will play an important role in the next few games. Could it be that after Fafnir was released by Kratos, he will give the mirror to him as a gift, and maybe Kratos will use it on himself during the Battle of Ragnarok to defeat the Aesir gods? I know it seems like a weird idea, but if it's carefully executed, having a dragon version of Kratos would be one of the best moments in the series. But so far, all we can do is speculate and hope this magical mirror makes an appearance in the next game. But what do you guys think? Could Kratos use the mirror on himself to become the most badass dragon in history? Or maybe someone else, like Odin, Thor? Leave your theories about the mirror in the comment section below. Now, before I do my usual goodbye, I want to warn you that most likely I won't be uploading God of War videos for about a month. I managed to get a cheap plane ticket and I'm going to visit my girlfriend in the States. I will, however, cover any God of War related news, whether it's the release date of God of War Fallen God, or even an unlikely God of War 5 announcement. I'll be there covering it. So relax, I still got a ton of theories and lore videos to keep you hyped up for the next game. So with that said, thank you so much to all of my awesome members. People like Max Ford, Mohammed A, and Kieran Thunder, to name a few, really go above and beyond to support the channel. I would also like to thank all of my subscribers for sharing and liking my videos. It may not seem like much, but it really does help. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more God of War content. And as always, remember, go forth in the name of Olympus.